Alright, let's move on to the teacher guided example 2. If you read the question, I believe most of you have already read the question. So there are 3 boys, Brian, Henry and Daniel. They had some marbles. Now we don't know how many marbles they have altogether, but from the second sentence we know that 5/9 of the marbles belong to Brian, and the remaining marbles belong to Henry and Daniel in the ratio 3:5. Given that Brian had 161 more marbles than Henry, find the number of marbles that belonged to Daniel. So I'm going to zoom into the solution. I've drawn the model now with 9 parts, and we all know that 5 out of these 9 parts belongs to Brian. Now let's look at the remaining part here. Now this remaining part here are the ones that belong to Henry and Daniel in this ratio 3:5. Now if you look at their ratio, if you look at their total ratio, now their total ratio, if we total them up, 3 plus 5 equals to 8 parts. Alright? Now, but if we look at the remaining parts here, we only have 4 units. How are we going to make them from 4 parts to 8 parts? So what we do is we're going to subdivide the remaining part here. I'm going to subdivide each unit into 2, and now we have 8 units altogether. Now in these 8 units, 3 belongs to Henry, and 5 belongs to Daniel. Alright, now let's look at it as a whole. Now since we have already subdivided the remaining units, each of the remaining units here into 2, I'm going to do the same for Brian's unit. Why? For easy comparison, and if all the units are equal, we can compare them quite easily. Now the question said that Brian had 161 more marbles than Henry. Now let's compare Brian's model, Brian's unit, and Henry's unit. Brian has got now how many smaller units? 10. We have 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. And Henry now has got 3 units. So how many extra units does Brian have? Brian actually has 7 extra units than Henry. And this is the extra units here, 2, 4, 6, 7, and this is the 161 marbles. Now I want you to look closely at the units. So from here we can see that 7 units, 7 smaller units is 161 marbles. So find out what 1 unit is. 161 divided by 7. I want you to work this out yourself. Question: find the number of marbles that belong to Daniel. So your task is to find out Daniel's marbles, which is 5 units. So after you have found out what 1 unit is, find out what 5 units is, which belongs to Daniel. So from here you get your answer from what you get above here times 5. You will get the final answer. This is your final answer.